Morning and welcome to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. Our focus this morning will begin on the United States Marine Corps. They are the Maritime Land Force Service Branch of the United States Armed Forces. Semper Fidelis, meaning always faithful, is the motto of the Corps. My first guest serves as the president and CEO of the U.S. Marine Corps Toys for Tots Foundation, Lieutenant General James B. Laster, U.S. Marine Corps retired. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you. And thank you for having me on your show.
Well, I am very happy to have you here with us today. If you would, tell us more about the Marine Corps Toys for Tots Foundation.
Well, if I could give you a little bit of history, it actually goes back to 1947. There was a Marine reservist. At the time, he was a major in the Los Angeles unit. Bill Hendricks was his name. Mm-hmm. And he and his wife were both bothered with the poverty in the Los Angeles area. And so on Christmas Day, he would get into his dress blue Marine uniform, and he and his wife would go out and collect toys and distribute them to less fortunate children. Over the years, it continued to grow. Other Marine reservists started getting involved. In his civilian life, Bill Hendricks was in the film industry. In fact, he received an Oscar for a documentary that he did for the U.S. Marine Corps. One day, he was invited to have lunch with Walt Disney, who found out about what he and his wife and other Marines were doing. And he invited him to have lunch with him. He said, "Tell me about what you're doing with passing out toys at Christmas time." And so he told him, described the program to him. Walt Disney at that time got a napkin and doodled the little train that says Toys for Tots across it, which is now our slogan and landmark. And so from that point on, Walt Disney committed Disney Corporation as being a partner with Toys for Tots. And it's just continued to grow, where to this day, Disney is one of our biggest corporate sponsors. And so years go by, the program continues to expand. And then it got the attention of our commandant, General Cates, at the time. And he said, you know, drawing down after World War II, it's important for the Marine Corps to stay connected to the American public. So he made the Toys for Tots program an official activity of the U.S. Marine Corps. And then just to jump ahead a few more years, in the early 90s, senior officers came to our commandant, General Mundy at the time, and said, it's probably not a good idea for us as the Marine Corps, a federal entity, to be involved in collecting donations and so on. We really need to have someone form a foundation. And so it was at that time, General Mundy asked a three-star officer who was retiring, if he would form the foundation. He did. Our headquarters is here in Triangle, Virginia. And he got us incorporated here in the state of Virginia. And that was in 2006, I believe it was. And so from then on now, the Marine Toys for Tots Foundation is the overarching headquarters over the Marine Corps Toys for Tots program that's run by our reserve units across the nation, as well as many, many civilian volunteers.
Yeah, and what a great story. I don't think I ever had heard about the collaboration of Walt Disney. So that just really adds a whole nother aspect to the great work that you do. So you actually conduct a number of activities throughout the year to generate toys and monetary donations for economically disadvantaged children. So if you would tell us about some of the things that you're able to do as a foundation outside of the toys that you donate to help raise money.
Well, one of our programs, we partnered with the UPS store a few years ago, and it's called our literacy program. And we collect money as well as take donations in the form of books and reading materials. And we donate those to less fortunate children around the country, even outside of Christmas. This past year, that got me thinking about, we have the you know, we are financially solvent enough, I think, that we can do more than just at Christmas time. Most people recognize us as a Christmas time charity, but I always thought that we could probably do more. And so when the pandemic occurred here in February, I brought in the staff and I said, okay, here's our opportunity. I hate to say, you know, COVID has brought us an opportunity, but it's our responsibility, I think, to step up and help less fortunate children, especially now when they're at home, they're not in school, so they've lost that support structure. To make matters worse, their parents have probably been laid off because of the economic impact of the pandemic. And so we need to do something to bring some normalcy back into their precious lives. So over about a 3-4 month period here, we have donated over 2 million books and toys to less fortunate children. And many of those was through Title I schools, which we continue to do today.
Wow.
And so I am looking now as the president and CEO to do more things even beyond Christmas. One of which would be disaster relief, not to get into the way of first responders or disaster relief personnel, but to be there at a time when we can provide emotional support to children. Mm-hmm. And so that's just some of the things that we're doing. Now, I will also tell you that we were able to donate or able to distribute the 2 million toys and books here during the pandemic because of the very generosity of the American people. But that was toys and books we were probably going to use this Christmas. Mm-hmm. And so we need to replenish that stock, so to speak. So I would ask the American public, first of all, thank you for your generosity, but I would ask you to help us to restock those. So please continue to either donate toys and books or to give online.
Yeah, this is perfect timing to have you on, because that's exactly what made me contact you, because here we are still fighting this pandemic, and times are uncertain and very difficult. Like you said, you've got kids who are at home. You've got parents who are having a hard time, some trying to figure out how to pay their bills, some looking for work, some trying to even pay the mortgage. So people are going to need help more than ever before. And it's awesome to know that organizations like yours exist to really step up and help make a difference. So I wanted to definitely give information to those families who are watching on how, in fact, they can get signed up and consider to be one who actually can get some of these toys for their children.
And thanks for asking that. The best way for them, and unless they know for a fact that there's a campaign in their area, is just to go to our website, go to toysfortots.org, and it will navigate you to, you know, by your county or your city, and then it will tell you where the nearest Toys for Tots campaign is located, and it will give points of contact and who to call or to email. Yeah, and that's the best way to do it. I would also tell them there's probably still some anxiety about the pandemic, and so we have told our coordinators, do what you can do based on the local and state guidelines that have been given. And many of them they're getting very innovative. For example, one gentleman, I think up near your area, he leased a huge warehouse that had 2 big garage doors. Mm-hmm. So, you know, in the past, what we would normally do is set up like a warehouse, almost like a toy store, and families would come in to receive their toys. So he set it up where in advance he gets, you know, the gender and the ages of their children, and then they drive into this warehouse and they identify themselves. He puts the toys in their trunk or in the back seat, and they drive out. And there's many of our campaigns that are doing that. So we're doing it in a safe and responsible manner.
Yeah, and the website address, toysfortots.org.
Yes, ma'am.
And you mentioned that there are different cities that, conduct different ways to distribute and
That's right.
take donations. And locally, Milwaukee and Waukesha counties have Toys for Tots campaign that are committed to bringing families holiday cheer. And it's important to keep in mind that all registration and referral activities are managed by the Salvation Army. So again, we ask you to go to toysfortots.org and then go directly to the Milwaukee link to get more details on what you need to do. But what are some of the things that people can donate as far as toys for kids of all ages? And then you also take monetary donations, right?
Yes, ma'am. With the pandemic, we know that there's probably going to be some areas that will not be putting out toy collection boxes that you've seen in years past that have our little train that say Toys for Tots. So in a case like that where they don't know where to donate a toy, then the best thing to do is just to go online and make a donation. Okay. I still think many of our campaigns are able to put the boxes, the toy collection boxes out in retail stores and so on. And they're doing it in a safe and responsible manner. And so if they see one of those boxes, I would ask them to purchase a brand new toy and put it in the box. And if not, then consider making a donation.
All righty. There are nearly 40,000 Marines, Marine Corps, League members, veteran Marines, and volunteers involved in this 3-month process. So is there a deadline for people to donate?
Many of our campaigns will go all the way up till Christmas Eve, basically, and some of them even on Christmas Day. So it would be best to start, reaching out and contacting the coordinator now and let them know what your requirements for your family are.
Okay, again, go to that website, toysfortots.org for your area. And the Marine Toys for Tots Foundation is governed by a board of directors whom are successful business leaders from across the nation, and they have all served as U.S. Marines. And I think that that really goes right back to the motto, always faithful, always ready to give back, right?
That's right. Yes, ma'am. And there's no such thing as a former Marine. We are Marine veterans. So once a Marine, always a Marine.
That makes a lot of sense. And you really earned those titles, that's for sure. So you were telling me before the show, just call me Jim. I'm like, no, sir, you are definitely General Laster. We thank you for all that you do. Thank you for your service to our country, and thank you for making a difference in the lives of so many disadvantaged children who live right here in our area. We appreciate all that you do.
Well, you're very, very welcome. And thank you so much for helping us to get our message and our story out like you have just done here with your show. Thank you.
Thank you. It has been a pleasure talking to you. Lieutenant General James B. Laster. He is U.S. Marine Corps retired, and he serves as the president and CEO of the U.S. Marine Corps Toys for Tots Foundation. Again, for more information on anything we've discussed today, you can go to the website, toysfortots.org. When we return to our Issues Milwaukee, we'll switch our focus to the Milwaukee Urban League and find out more about one of Milwaukee's best known fundraising events, the Black and White Ball. We'll talk to the president and CEO, Dr. Eve Hall, right after this.